what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Finally doing something not German on the channel for once. We're driving a limited edition Subaru P1, so finally a Japanese car. It's mostly been a case of what I can get hold of to film. If you know about your Subarus, you'll know that these P1s, they only made 1,000 of them. This is actually the first Subaru I'll ever have been in or have driven, so quite a special one to start it off with. Hopefully we'll start covering more of these Imprezas and Evos on the channel as well. Some of you guys should be able to see that sonic blue paint just from here. Very special car, the P1. I know some of you guys will be quite excited, especially if you're big Subaru fans. This will be a new thing for me, so definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, that's the beast there. The plan now is I'm essentially going to give you guys a little walk around of the car, and then yeah, we'll go for a drive. Right guys, so here we have it, the Subaru Impreza P1. A very special car, and finally doing a Japanese car on the channel as well. The goal of today is to basically have fun with this. I'm not like a huge Subaru nerd or anything. I do appreciate WRC sort of inspired cars, stuff like the Evos, Imprezas, because I was into my rally games back in the day. I used to watch a bit of WRC as well, so we'll go over a bit of the spec on these things, then we'll take it for a drive and just generally get a feel for how these things drive like. I'm interested to see how they compare to the modern stuff as well, because these are proper drivers cars. They don't really make cars like this anymore. But yeah, we'll get started anyway. We'll begin with the engine, of course. 2-litre boxer engine. Standard, they were around 280 horsepower. This one has been tuned. It is also decatted as well, so it's making around 320 horsepower. To modern standards, you'll probably think 320. That's around the same as what you get from something like a Golf R, stuff like that. But you got to remember, this thing weighs 1,295 kilos, and also the gearing, etc. They're very different cars. They're from a totally different era, but I'm sure it's fun in its own right. There were a lot of changes made to the P1 to set it apart from your normal Subaru Impreza turbos. It was actually built to tackle a lot of the imports that were coming from Japan. So ProDrive had a big hand in developing this car. That's why it's called the P1. The main way to sort of highlight is actually a two-door as well. These big foglets at the front. You got this aggressive body kit as well. Big wing at the back, and these lovely alloys as well. You can see OZ ProDrive. I'm just really looking forward to checking out this thing when we go for a drive, because like I said, I used to play a lot of Colin McRae rally back in the days. Yeah, this thing's lovely, man. I'm just here just appreciating the car. We're not going to get too nerdy with the facts, like I said. Just want to see how this thing's like. Lovely P1 badge. Got this carbon fiber section here on the spoiler. See, I mean, that's a proper wing. I mean, you've seen the wing on the back of my car. Not really a wing, this is a wing. And we have it. P1 badge as well. P1 on the exhaust tip as well. Yeah, the thing looks awesome. It's finished in sonic blue. The only color you could get the Impreza P1 in. These things were developed by ProDrive, so the main highlight of that would be the fact that these things have been tuned for our UK roads. There was only 1,000 made as well, so they're quite limited run. This particular car, the owner's had it for the last 12 years, and he's only driven it 4,000 miles, so a very clean example. I just love the location we've got it in as well. It gives it that proper rally sort of vibe right now. But yeah, just generally appreciating the car. When they were new, the standard car used to do 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. So bang on the same sort of figures you'd get from a modern day car like a Golf R. But of course, a very different way of gaining speed. Manual only, there's no DSG nonsense here. But I'll just show you the interior. I mean, you generally don't see many of these model Imprezas anymore anyway, let alone a P1. Of course, the interior, classic 90s Japanese cabin. The main highlight is these seats though, ProDrive written on them as well. I'm pretty sure they are Recaro seats as well from what I've read. Got all the logos here. So ProDrive limited edition. This is number 283 from what I can see. Manual gearbox as well, no messing around. Alright, so nice long door, being a 2-door only, no 4 doors on the P1. Let's hop in. First time I've actually sat in any Subaru this. Quite a special one to begin the videos with, that's for sure. Right, very buckety seats, I can say. I'm properly secured in here, and you got quite a high driving position in terms of you can see directly out, like there's a bonnet scoop as well. A very different driving position to what I'm used to. It also feels very small in here as well. It goes to show how big cars have got now, because this feels like, the way the sort of width of the interior is, it feels like super mini size, which is very strange for me. Of course, got the square mirrors. It's like a proper, like, you know, driving position in terms of like a driver's car. Like, it feels like you get in here to just do driving, which is the main thing. I know it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but trust me, when you've driven a lot of modern stuff like me, you can definitely feel the difference when you get one of these. Right, I know a lot of you guys might think that I'm a very German car focused kind of guy. Of course, with the channel, German cars have been the focus, but stuff like this always gets me excited because I've always been into my WRC games, mainly Colin McRae games, if you guys know. Been playing them since I was a kid, man. So the Impreza and the Evo have always sort of played a big part of that. But of course, they're not that easy to get hold of. Stuff like, I don't know, S3s and Golf Rs are everywhere nowadays. Something like an Impreza P1, you don't come about every now and again. Very special car. What we're going to do now though, we are going to turn it on. This car has got ALS as well, so we'll show you all the sounds and stuff. Of course, boxer engines have that unique sound, but yeah, let's get to that. Right guys, so a lot of rally vibes there, as you heard with the ALS switched on. Literally feels like I'm about to start a rally stage. Quite a special moment for me, definitely, because I've been used to hearing these sounds in rally games mainly, or on YouTube videos. First time I'm hearing it in person, and you definitely feel like you're doing something even when you're revving the car, like the whole car like rocks. But yeah, what we're going to do now, we're going to finally take this thing for a drive. Right guys, so here we are on the P1, just getting used to the clutch. It's nice to be in something a bit more old school, like clutch is heavier and everything more, like compared to your usual, like say if you jump in a Golf or something. I know the Golf always comes up as an example on the channel, but that's mainly what we cover. It also feels very compact in here. It feels like the size of, like, you know, if you was to jump in like a Polo or something, like it feels that size in here. But yeah, it's just getting used to it. It just feels like, even if I drove this slowly for the whole of the drive, I'd still be like excited, because for me it's something new. As mentioned, I've always been into WRC, but it's like these cars are not really on the roads much anymore. You don't really see them just driving around, especially a P1 like this. But yeah, I mean, we're on some pretty nice roads, so as I get used to the clutch. You get this big dump of boost, like there's hardly any lag as well. Third gear and it just gets going to 3000 RPM. There, it really gets going. I can see why a lot of people are into their Japanese cars, definitely. I mean, like, I've always appreciated them. I know I don't really talk about them much, but it's not because I'm not into them. It's more about what I can sort of discuss on the channel, what I get hold of. Most people drive German hatchbacks nowadays, so that's kind of what the channel was built on. But yeah, it's not to say I don't drive or like Japanese cars. These are something special for sure. Of course, it's not like your daily car, but then you don't really buy one of these for that. This is a weekend tool, this thing, if you want to do rally stages. But I don't think anyone's going to take a P1 on a rally stage now. They're too special to do that. Getting used to it now with floor in second. Yeah, that's totally different, you know. See, you can look at figures on paper, but 320 in this and 320 in like an S3 and R is totally different. I can guarantee you that. Okay. Genuinely, that is unlike anything I've ever. You only have to touch the gas for a few seconds and it just gives you this awesome rush, like. You can feel like the turbo's coming on something, like not just like this NA power band you get in a lot of cars. Nowadays all the hatchbacks and stuff, they're turbocharged, but they don't give you that dump of boost like this does. And it's quite aggressive when it comes off boost as well, like you fully, like you can feel it just shutting down like that. I feel like I'm in a Colin McRae game right now. Yeah, so the way it comes on is totally different to any modern car. Look at this steering here as well, guys. Like, whatever you tell it to do, it does. Like, there's no electric mushiness to it. It's a very direct steering. You can literally just, you feel like you're sitting on top of the car. Like, as you can see from this angle as well, the bonnet scoop is right there. I'm not sitting very low. It's quite a high commanding driving position for what you think would be quite a low car sitting in it, but it's not. You're sitting quite high. I'll come back to second again. That sound when you let off is very addictive. It's quite aggressive as well when it does it. it fully shoves you back when you let off the gas, which is quite unique. Brakes, you can feel they haven't got that initial bite like a modern car, but yeah, I just love letting off to hear that noise. Getting the hang of the blips now. Yeah, I can totally see the appeal with these things. It's a shame they don't make cars like this anymore. Definitely is a shame. I know you can get the Subaru Impreza, or they call it the WRX STI. I think last year or early this year it was the last versions of them. They made like a final run-off model, but that car never really took off, to be honest. The modern hot hatches, your Focus RS, your Golf R's, they kind of took over this segment in a way, you know, the 300 horsepower all-wheel drive hatchback kind of thing, but they're nothing like these cars. These are proper four-wheel drive systems to start with. None of these front biased ones which shuffle torque around. These, if you add power in the corner, you can get them to sort of slide, stuff like that. This is how it should be. I mean, I appreciate, like, you know, for packaging reasons and efficiency, you'd want those kind of systems, you know, like Haldex and stuff, but yeah, when you add power mid-corner in one of these, this is a proper four-wheel drive system. See there, when it comes on power, it's totally different to any other 320 horsepower car, that's for sure. As you can see here, the gearbox is right here, like the steering is direct. It's a lot more of a, like a visceral and violent driving experience, which is its own appeal. I know some people don't like a car that keeps you involved. They like to just sit back and just chill, like automatic, stuff like that. This, you got to get involved though. See here, you got a bit of lean there, so you get on the power though. I just love this gearbox as well. It's a very direct shift. It's like right there, you just flick between the gears. At the start I had to get used to the clutch, but once you get a bit of a rhythm of it, you can fully make a lot of pace in this. You just gotta sort of get used to the way they drive, in terms of like they're a lot more on it than say your modern car. But yeah, totally different thing, totally different thing. This thing is very quick, very quick. I'm surprised my GoPro stayed on the back as well. It's the way it does the speed as well. It's not so much like, you know, the car's quick. It's more about like it aggressively does it. Like, I spoke to a few people before I got in the seat of this, like just to get a general feel, like, you know, like friends or family members, just like how it's going to be like to drive one of these, and they all told me the same thing. Like, they were like, it's going to be very raw to drive and feel a lot faster than what the figures suggest. Like nowadays BHP's just gone out of hand, like everything's 400 horsepower, like, but they've gone more numb as a result as well. My third gear, got all these crests and corners. Good job I drove out to these roads as well, something a bit different. But yeah, my usual back roads, I'm pretty sure this thing would demolish them as well, all the tight twisty bits. Right, so we just turned the ALS on. You can hear a lot of overrun as well. I mean, the throttle position has changed, it's quite aggressive, but we'll give it a go anyway. It feels a lot more aggressive now, even more so than before. The throttle is a bit less smooth to get on than before, but there's a lot more bangs going on, that's for sure. They're a bit of roll, but once you deal with it, it just pulls you around. You can feel like the four-wheel drive sending power, which is a nice thing. And the steering is so uncorrupted, that's the main thing. You know, like now, electronic systems, yeah, the overrun's there all the time, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sold on the whole idea of a Subaru, definitely. I mean, it took a drive for me to finally see what they're about. I've always appreciated them. It's not been the case like, you know, oh, I only like German cars and I wouldn't consider like a Japanese car. It's more about what you can get hold of to start with, and and also you don't really see P1s driving around every day, so it's a very special car. Hopefully we will drive a lot more Japanese cars on the channel from now on. We'll try some Evos, we'll try some other Subarus as well. Might try out quite a modern Subaru to see how maybe they've gone backwards in a way, because a lot of people do prefer these older ones, because it does like sort of beg the question, like, why do a lot of people not like the current day Subaru Impreza or the WRX STI? Because if it drove like this, it definitely makes a nice alternative to having your regular hot hatch, but maybe they've gone more refined. I mean, this is obviously developed by ProDrive and the full works, so it's probably not going to be like this. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes anyway. I think what we'll do, guys, we'll wrap up the video here. That was a nice feel for the Subaru P1, the first Subaru I've ever driven, and probably one of the most special ones I'm going to drive. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up as well, and subscribe for a lot more content to come. Big thanks to the owner as well for letting me have a go. It's a very special car. He's had it for 12 years and he only brings it out occasionally, so yeah, big shout out to him. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one.